Hi, so this episode I will be looking at five, yeah, five, five manga books that I've read this week. Some new ones, some which aren't out in some shops at the moment, and just giving a review of them. I'm not doing a comic book haul review this week. It won't be until most likely not next week, but the Monday after when I do them, because I can't get to my comic shop until then. Doing other stuff. So we'll look at these. So first one we'll look at is one which is volume 2 of a series that I've already done a look at. And this is Manhole Book 2 by Tetsuya. Tetsuya. I think that's how you pronounce his surname. So it's from the publisher Kana. So with Kana, they always come with flaps and dust covers. That's the cover without. So this continues the story about a detective and a junior detective who are investigating this case where there's been this mysterious people appearing where they've got a missing guy, blood, and they're just basically babbling and insane, and blood gushes out of them. And it turned out that they've been infected by this virus, which is brought on by these, I think, by mosquitoes, and it basically just causes them to completely shut down. But it turns out they were operated on as well, and all sorts of things. And there's this mysterious person who's been doing these, pardon me, these operations and brought this infection into Japan for his own mysterious endgame. And so this story develops much more in this episode, and the artwork is improved as well. That was the one thing that I did not care for that much last time. I thought the artwork was a bit sketchy last time. So yeah, it's a lot better. But I'm very limited what I can show in this because it goes quite dark. I would say the I would say this is a combination of the Andromeda Strain, Outbreak, and Seven. So it's got the beats of a dark crime slash slightly horror mystery with sci-fi tropes of a virus outbreak, and it doesn't shy away from showing the effects of the virus and the outbreak, and things develop at a really good pace. So the infection is spreading. More and more people, they're finding more and more people coming down with the infection, and it's extremely deadly. And it affects the police force, well, it affects the two detectives' lives in very personal ways, which I don't want to elaborate on because I really do want you to read this. Yeah, it's a very strong middle book. I think it's only, yeah, I think it's the middle book. I think it's only got one more book to go, which I think is coming out in June, something like that. But yeah, I do recommend looking out for this Manhole from the publisher Kana. Now, I would normally say get it from Amazon, but I found a better supplier now, a better online shop, which is sci-fire.com. I think it's $1.99 postage, if I remember rightly. I did do a video of it, and that's for any amount of books you buy. So if you bought 20 books, it'd still be $1.99 flat rate. And most books have got a discount on them as well, so really, really good. Do support them. They're a nice alternative to Amazon. That's if you can't go to your comic shop. If you go to your comic shop and they have manga, support your local comic shop as well, which is what I try to do as well when I can find titles. So yeah, I do recommend that one. And from the same publisher is a new series called Scars. This is by now with Kana. They do manga, but they don't just do manga from Japan. They also do manga influenced titles from other parts of the world. And this is from a manga author and illustrator called Brandon Arias from Santiago, Chile. So got a slightly different flavor, but the art is very, very typical of what you'd find in Japan. Really nice, clear art. So this is I'll show you the inlay's not that impressive this time. It's just a photograph one. But I'll read the blurb on the back. So it says, Karensuke is a young boy who is constantly bullied for having a large scar on his face. Akira is a young girl who is beaten by her father, despised by her classmates, and who holds a dark secret close to her heart. Wounded, rejected, and humiliated, the young pair starts a romantic relationship that becomes their escape. So it's about this little guy here and this girl here, and they both have things what they have to fight against in the public eye. So he's always on the scrutiny because of his face being disfigured with this scar, and she's a transgender girl, so she has that bullying aspect as well. What I like about it, it's unflinching in its stark honesty, while also just show you some of the artwork. Can't show you much because I don't know how fussy these publishers are. While also upending a lot of typical manga tropes. Like if this was a Japanese manga, being a story about star-crossed lovers kind of thing, it'd take like 14 tank bands before they actually got sort of where they even held hands. But about, I think even, yeah, not even halfway through the book, just show you some more pictures. Not even halfway through the book, they declare their love for each other, and that's the catalyst of the story exploding and going in different directions then. So what starts off as almost like a classic manga romance suddenly upends by suddenly, right, that's just the start, that's just the catalyst, that's just where the main, that's just like the jumping off point for the main story. And so the main story is them realizing that they're willing to sacrifice everything else for their love because nobody else understands them. And they basically run away. And the support they get is not from people who you'd expect to get it from, but it's from people who before hated them and bullied them. And it's fascinating. It doesn't just focus on these two, but the other people, the supporting cast is really elevated as well. And they have really strong backstories. Like this guy here. And it goes into dark places, but not too dark. It goes into dark places because it's necessary, but then it brings you out into lighter areas as well, so it doesn't dwell too long on dark areas like some comics can do. And yeah, I think this could be. I think this is his first manga, and he's got a good career ahead of him. It's a the plotting is masterful. I'm not normally one to read romance stories, but this, like I said, it tips it on its head, so I don't mind that kind of romance. Um, And yeah, I like how like I said, I like how now the main plot point is about how they will cope, moving away from their comfort zones and just having each other and nobody else. So yeah, do check this out. It's called Scars. It's by Brandon Arias. There's only one volume out so far. I think the next one's out in July, something like that. Oh yeah, the price is $9.99. But obviously, you can get them cheaper if you look elsewhere. Um, and yeah, again, 9 out of 10, really, really good. I devoured this in about an hour, so I just couldn't stop reading it. So that's a good sign. And next up is Downfall by one of my favorite mangaka, Inyo Asano, who does. Always get this wrong. But let's just. He does Dead Demons DDDDD Destruction, which I'm on. I've got 8 volumes and I'm up to volume 5. Once I've finished them all, I think I've got about 4 more volumes to buy as well. Once I finish that, I will do a review of the whole series because it's chef's kiss. And he also did Pun Pun, Goodnight Pun Pun, which I want to get, but I hear it can be quite emotional. Quite, it really plays on emotion, so I'll have to be in the right frame of mind for that. And What a Wonderful World, what I've not seen, and Solomon, which I have, it's on my bucket list. But his art style is just fantastic. It's so detailed. This is very much a slice of life book, and be very careful what I can show because this one is definitely not for kids. It's quite explicit, but explicit in its normalcy, if that makes sense. It doesn't make sex look interesting or exciting. It makes sex just look as a necessary distraction from the grind of day-to-day existence. Um, but this mangaka is so versatile in his artistic style. He can do books like this, which is just slice of life, and then fantastical ones like Dead, which is very much a lot of sci-fi tropes with girls on adventure kind of story. So this, I'll tell you what it's about. So the synopsis: selling copies is the only thing that matters. So what if your manga series just ended and you have no idea how to start the next one? Your marriage is breaking up. Your pure love of manga has been destroyed by the cruel reality of the industry, and nothing seems to fill the sucking void inside you. Find a secret combo for a new hit manga series, and everything will be okay, right? So this is definitely a mangaka writing about what he knows, which is writing manga, illustrating manga, and it deals with how he's become numb to doing it. He's finished this series, got loads of accolades, but it's not the fan favorite what it used to be, and he's just like hit this wall. It's like, what next? What can I do? And so he's just finding distractions and excuses for not doing anything, and he's getting jealous of the young up and coming ones, saying, "Oh, they're trite, how they're popular, blah blah blah," and he's just destroying his life. Nobody's destroying it for him. He's doing it himself. He's just making bad decisions left, right, and centre, just to basically feel something, I think, and he can't. And so it got, I don't want to delve more on it because with it being a slice of life, just being a one volume one, if I give more, it'll ruin the experience for you. You need to read it. It reads very much more like a film, like an art house film. Um, like, oh, that American director who was big in the 60s, 70s, forgot what his name is now. But I absolutely love this, but it wasn't an easy read. It's not one where I had, you have to read it in stages because it's a lot to soak in. Um, it's got very impactful moments, and he's not a likable main character. He's a bastard. He's a complete bastard, and he basically doesn't see. He doesn't think it's his fault. He thinks it's everybody else's fault. So he's completely dislikable. But the story itself is fascinating. It's written in a very hypnotic style. The artwork is beautiful, but I will give it an 8 out of 10 because of the subject matter being not one easy to digest. It's not a fun read at all, but it's fascinating. So there we go. But on the flip side, he's got a brand new book out by the same person, Inyo Asano. This one's called Magina Into the Deep. That's the cover. Nice French flaps. Oh, by the way, that one is $10.99. This one is $13.99. Quite a bit dearer. But this is latest one. It's not out in some places yet, but I got it from sci-fi.com. Yes, I'm plugging them because I like them. This is amazing. This is probably one of the best things I've read this year, manga, western, whatever kind of comics. I'll read you the synopsis. It says, no life but the one you make, no rights but the ones you take. In the near future, human rights aren't guaranteed, but they are for sale. Without your rights, you're just a Regina, with no place to call your own and no laws to protect you. But if the laws don't apply to you, you can do anything you want. You just need the skills to back it up. And if you're really good, you can make a killing. Terumi Morgan bitterly accepts that he shouldn't expect a lot from life. He just wants to meet his deadlines at work and watch his porn in peace. But then an unexpected sick day sends him on a collision course with two people who will change his world forever. A runaway kid and a 30-something Regina assassin. Suddenly life is expecting a lot for him. This, how would I describe this? It's a weird one. um, it's got elements of Blade Runner, elements of Leon the Killer, elements of Ghost World, elements of like a slacker kind of vibe to it. Slice of life. Oh, Cassavetes, that's that book. The other just came to John Cassavetes. That's what had that kind of beats to it, and it's amazing. The characters are fascinating. Again, I didn't even realize what the books were about this time. A lot of them are very, very, very mature, and this is no exception. Some of the characters in here are completely dislikable, really gutter snipes, but then there's others which are really fantastic. The opening pages, I do like it when they've got these opening splash pages. Just beautiful. The art in this is next level. People going about Dan Mora, Hayden Sherman, and other people like that. So they've not got a patch on some of these manga cards. I mean, look at this artwork. It's dynamic, it's frenetic, it's so bloody detailed. It is amazing. So yeah, it incorporates everything, blends perfectly into this real concoction. So it's street level, slice of life, it's futuristic, and then it's got futuristic samurais. So there's two kind of like parallel societies. There's your everyday society, and if you're part of that, you have a identity card, what you have to take with you everywhere. You can't buy anything or do anything without your identity card. And then there's these who are called Mugina, who basically reject that. So they live on the outskirts, so they can't live with society. They can't get normal jobs. They can't ride things like trains, trams, anything like that, because you need a card for that. So a lot of them, it's just ingenious. A lot of them live on rooftops, and they have these. Let me just see if I can find a picture. Yeah, they have these boots which got like these massive like spring heels, which can propel them from roof to roof, and that's how they live. So they basically very rarely come down to ground level if they can help it. And like so, when they do go on the ground level, they've got to stay undercover. They can't go into normal social places. But because they don't live by the rules, they can get jobs that other people can't get. So a lot of them, the vast majority of them, become assassins. And this is basically about two assassins in this, and they've got virgin storylines that collide. And then there's this other one, this older guy who's this games designer. He owns this game design company. He gets caught in the middle of it, and this young girl also ends up getting ensconced in it as well, who's run away from home. And then this really seedy young, extremely seedy. This really seedy young musician gets caught up in it as well, but he's a minor character. And it's just wonderful storytelling. All these plot threads just meet together in the middle, and that's when, again, like with some of these other ones, the story just explodes. No page is wasted. No bit of dialogue's wasted. No panel is wasted. Every page is so detailed. I mean, look at the action in that. Choreography in that is amazing, and the action is exciting but not cheesy. And he's created a society what you can what you it doesn't spoon feed it to you. You work it out as it's going along, and it's there. It's a living, breathing alternative society from what we're used to. It's futuristic without being over the top. Very grounded, like Blade Runner is. Um, and I just love that whole thing where they've got these people living outside the laws. So they've sacrificed basically everything, but they've gained a lot of other stuff as well. So yeah, it's great. I can't wait for the next issue, next volume, which could be a while. But I highly recommend this. I'm going to give this, wait for it, 10 out of 10. This is a must. If you love manga, buy it. If you've never read manga before, this is a good jumping on point. It's one volume so far, and it's called Mujina Into the Deep by Inio Asano. Couldn't give this a higher praise. Wonderful from the design work to the art, the storytelling. It's a really fantastic thrill ride. Now, there's a series I like. Let me just have a look. There's a series I like called Heirasume, which I did a video of a while ago. What I adore it. It's a slice of life about this slacker guy who cousin comes to live with him, and she's learning to be she's trained to be a manga artist. I've gushed over it. I said I really, really enjoyed it. Everybody should read it. Well, this by the same author, same mangaka, does the art and story, Keigo Shinzo, and it's called Tokyo Alien Bros. It's 10.99, and again, sold wherever you buy your comics from or manga from. So the synopsis, very different in style to his other book. I'll explain why in some areas as well. So this says, oh, the names kill me. Fuyunosuke Tanaka is a perfectly ordinary college student, except for one thing. He's secretly an alien. He and his brother Natsaturo have travelled across the galaxy to study the people of Earth and evaluate the planet's resources, but adapting to life on this new world may prove a bit harder than they thought. Here we go. Fuyunosuke's been living a good life in Tokyo. In fact, he's almost got the whole being human thing down. His brother Natsutaro, on the other hand, can't figure out the first thing about blending in on this strange planet. There's still a lot they don't know about humans, but with luck, Fuyunosuke might just be able to show his brother that life on this little blue ball isn't so bad after all. So it's a comedy, but it's got great action sequences as well, and it's it's a fish out of water comedy. So it's two aliens trying to pass themselves off as human. The alien form is this. Sort of like a jellyfish, kind of like Bertie Bassett kind of character. Um, but like they said, this guy here, he's the one who's been there longest, and he's really popular. He's assimilated really well into society, and his brother comes to Earth a long time after him. This is this guy here. He takes the visage of this girl who he sleeps with, her brother. Don't ask. Um, and so yeah, it just starts. That's like the main plot point. But the blonde guy is really popular. He's good at sports. All the girls fancy him. They aren't even aware of his slight eccentricities, which aren't normal. Like he thinks this pet carrier case is for just carrying his essentials in and stuff like this. So his brother comes to Earth and he appears naked. He takes human form, but he's naked. So this is his brother, by the way. So they give him this bathrobe, and he basically spends most of the book walking around Tokyo just in his bathrobe. Uh, and he introduces his brother. His brother's older than him, but the blonde-haired one comes across more as the responsible one. He's the fun one, and he's got no clue. This one, he's a traditionalist alien, and so they get up to a lot of weird and kooky things. They go on dates, they do jobs, they go to university. They've got a pet dog as well. This dog here, who bonds with him, even though he can't understand what this dog is. But it says here, I didn't see this explicit content. Well, got to think the aliens. So what we will see is icky or a bit ooh. They don't. So the blonde-haired one has a thing for drinking set of things, and it's stuff what we expel out of our body, and it shows it. That's all I will say. Initially, it threw me out of stone. I was like, "What the fuck?" But they don't dwell on it, thankfully. But yeah, that was a thing. Mm, so it depends on your cringe factor if you can cope with that. Um, but yeah, the art's glorious, and there's certain bits. I can't explain it. It's unique. So his brother's trying to fit. The new brother's who's just come to Earth, the one who's the older brother. He's he's not fitting in as well. He's sticking out like a sore thumb, and it ends on a bit where he does something what draws a lot of attention to him and his brother. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes with Volume 2. I'm being very cagey because, like I said, because it is there's bits in it what I can't show because it's explicit, and there's bits I can't show because they're very funny about how much you can show of manga. But the art is glorious. Not as detailed as the other one, but it's still really, really good. And the storytelling is good. Again, I ripped through this. I've been on a real big manga reading spree recently, and I would give this an 8 out of 10 because, like I said, just some of the bits maybe go ooh, but apart from that, it's very enjoyable, and I'm sure I'll carry on with this, and I'm sure it'll improve with each successive volume. So yes, so these are the manga. It's very nice seeing new companies coming on. It's not just Viz centric or Yen Press centric now. There's more coming on, and the stuff they're bringing out is really, really enjoyable. So, what I love about manga over Western comics is something called variety. Not one bloody cape in any of these, and even the science fiction stuff is way different to what it's just original. So I think manga is a good thing if you're feeling a bit jaded with the glut of American comics or British comics, give manga a try. If you want me to do a video where I give like some easy access points and some like what cover different genres, by all means I'll do that. But yeah, it's been an exciting week. I've really enjoyed this. It's been nice having a break from doing just my typical comic things as well. I have I have a lot of love for manga. I don't talk about it as much as I do other stuff because there's a lot of manga YouTube out there. But I've been into manga since what, mid 80s, when I think it was Eclipse Comics did it in the like Miracle Format Comics. I think it was Zenon, Maya the Psychic Girl. First comics did Lone Wolf and Cub, and then of course there was Epic with Akira. Yeah, so it's about the mid 80s when I got into it. So, and I've always had a love for it since then. So yeah, there will be more videos coming. I've got more in my baskets on different shops, and I buy stuff when I go and pick up my pull list every week. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and I shall say bye.